Hello everyone. Welcome to Stable Dollar. Today we will talk about the world economy for next year, 2023. A recession is a general decline or loss of economic activity in a country or region. This reduction is measured by the decrease, in the interannual rate, of the real gross domestic product and must take place for a significant period of time. Since the economy runs in cycles, it is possible to expect a recession after the years of growth that we have had worldwide. This reduction is affected in the production of goods and services, in consumption, in investment, in employment, the profit of companies, the prices of stock market indices, such as S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, etc., and the inflation. We are going through the weakest moment in the economy since the beginning of this century. The reason for this recession that is expected to arrive by the year 2023, it could be assumed that we are coming from an economic crisis due to conflicts that are taking place in the world and that impact from an aspect of energy crisis to different regions, as well as what happened in 2020 that left a great economic crisis when the world came to a standstill for reasons that we all know, and even climate change affects economies in different regions from many aspects. What is happening in the world? In the world we have several events that do not accompany the development of the economy normally. Cost of living crisis, we have many increases in the costs of food, fuel, and fertilizer, among others. Tightening of financial conditions with rising interest rates, where it is no longer so profitable to take out a loan and invest the money, such as buying a property. Russia's invasion of Ukrainian territory affected Europe to a large extent from a political point of view, and in turn with a direct energy crisis, Russia being the largest seller of gas on the continent, increasing its value. What does it mean for the U.S. to enter a recession? As the U.S. is, at the moment, the first world power, it has just overcome the 2008 crisis with a zero rate to increase consumption in society, and that said crisis does not affect the internal product as much. This indication of rates is almost always accompanied by the printing of banknotes to encourage consumption without directly affecting the economy. These dollars injected into the market must be withdrawn at some point, since printing banknotes has a direct impact on inflation, and in order to reduce it, a possible recession must be entered and the excess money removed. Something that also affects the world, accompanied by what was explained above, is inflation. What is inflation? It is the general increase in goods and services sustained over time. It is usually measured as a monthly or annual percentage number. Said inflation worldwide is produced by the recession that the United States expects, with the increase in hydrocarbons that directly impact the pockets of the consumer from the Russian invasion. An increase in interest rates from most central banks directly affects investment and growth. Can you imagine what happens if this occurs worldwide? This is exactly what we are going through in these last few months. How is the impact of all this in the world? There are various types of division between countries, where we have first world countries, producers and consumers with good economic development in recent years, and we have countries in worse conditions where they become dependent on the export of raw materials. The latter will be more affected since they are more likely to find themselves with a devalued local currency, and where their internal economy is not at the level of that of other larger countries. It will directly impact a crisis on the cost of living without investment, education, and economic growth. In first world countries, such as Europe, the United States and Canada, general energy costs and the costs of producing goods and services will also increase, resulting in an increase in all general prices. If the central banks do not focus on curbing inflation and then focus on economic growth, we will see many countries with high inflation and wear and tear on the local economy. Similar to what happens in Argentina today. How to resist the impact? Major economists worldwide are anticipating this crisis and recommend not facing large expenses for the microeconomic sectors, such as families anywhere in the world. Large companies are currently facing a drop in production costs, as is the case of Amazon with the dismissal of many employees. But it can also be a very good opportunity to invest and innovate in a specific branch that this does not affect so much. As has already been said,